Hi, welcome to Office Hours. I'm at my home station today instead of the office station, so and I don't have a headset. So if you can just let me know that my audio is a-okay, just by typing audio is good in the chat, then we can get this party started. Thank you in advance for that. Check 1 2, check. Anybody in the call that can just verify decent audio quality, please do so. Hi, Nora. Welcome to the stream. Timothy is also on Office Hours. Welcome. Just still looking for validation that the audio quality is good. Andrew is saying that the audio is good, so thank you for popping in there, Andrew. Awesome. That means I can click record and we can get this party started. Welcome, everyone, to another session of Office Hours. My name is Adrian. I am the CEO and founder of Groundhogg. Today, we are going to be focusing on designing a superior customer onboarding experience. It's our 51st Office Hours. We're getting up there. Next week, Office Hours will be number 52, which means we've officially done a full year of Office Hours from when I started doing this, well, I guess last year. So that's super exciting for me, and I'm really glad that you can, all of you on the call here today can be along for the ride. So this session is being recorded, and it will be eventually posted on YouTube and on Groundhogg Academy. We have a little bit of a backlog right now for editing and whatnot, but it will eventually be public. So if you want to share your questions or anything, try not to share anything too personal. But we're always here to answer your questions, and just it'll be recorded. So if you need to go back and look at a recording later on, that recording will be made available to you. If you have questions at any point, you can pop your question into the comment section. If you see me constantly diverting my attention from the screen, it's because I have a second monitor with all of the questions in the feed coming through it constantly. So I'm just constantly looking over to see if there's questions that need to be answered. So just why don't you actually just go ahead and pop in and say hello and let us on the stream. I have Alok, I have Louis, I have Nora, I have Timothy, I have Andrew. We've got a full house. It actually shows that 12 people are on currently with me, so that's awesome. Please do not be shy. There's no such thing as a bad question. There's no such thing as a silly question. All questions, if you're struggling with something and you need an answer in order to move forward, then that's my purpose of being on this call. We do have Office Hours today in two different sections. We have our topic, and then we're going to have an open Q&A session. So if you have topic-specific questions, until we reach the open Q&A, try and keep it on topic to customer onboarding and anything that we're talking about. Once about halfway through the call, so around maybe the 25-30 minute mark, we're going to switch into open Q&A, and then anything is fair game. So if you're struggling with something or you need some advice, that's when you can pop in and ask those questions. Before we jump into the main content, just a couple announcements. So we do have a new course. It is the Ultimate Review Generator Funnel. It's essentially a course that will train you on how to create a review funnel with Groundhogg so you can start generating more 5-star reviews. It's a very, very, very short course. It's only 3 videos. It'll take you less than 45 minutes, not only to do the course, but also to actually launch it and get some people in it. So it's really, 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 really quick. It's recorded by Will Middleton, who's actually working on another course with us right now, which is awesome, and he's a really, really great trainer. So please hop on over to Groundhogg Academy. The link for that is going to be posted in the chat momentarily. And there we go. The link for that is available in the chat. Of course, this course is absolutely 100% free. We also have a new blog post available where I talk about all of the strategies that we've implemented at Groundhogg to reduce refunds. And I think a lot of these strategies are going to be interchangeable with agencies and with other business verticals like courses or service-based businesses. So that article is currently published and is live on the blog, and the link to that is here. And let me just go ahead and paste that in the chat for you so you can go ahead and click to that. So these are all strategies that we've implemented here at Groundhogg in order to reduce refunds and get more customer success. So we are still working on our React. That is currently the sole focus of attention. I've gone through kind of the demo of that a few times. So if you want to see a demo of what we're working on, which is a all new funnel builder, which is really, really pretty, then you can watch the replay of the previous 2 office hours. But I'm not going to go too deep into that because we have a larger topic today, and I'm sure we're going to have a big Q&A section as well. I just see someone asking, is the Q&A here? Yes, the Q&A is here. We have it's broken up to 2 parts. We have our topic, which is what we're about to do, and then we have Q&A in about 25 minutes or so. So stick around. We're going to get to the Q&A session shortly, and we're just going to do a little bit of training before that. So don't go anywhere. Stick around for the Q&A section. So let's jump right into our topic today. We're talking about designing the perfect customer onboarding experience. I think that most companies, if they're looking for a solid place where they can grow, it's not in sales, it's not in marketing, it's not in content, but a lot of businesses can do themselves a lot of good by perfecting their customer onboarding experience. So let's talk about what's customer onboarding. Well, the customer onboarding experience is what we use to educate and indoctrinate new customers and leads whenever they turn or whenever they come into our funnel. And we use this process to turn them into what I like to call forever clients. We educate them on who we are, what we do, what our mission and purpose is, how our products work, and then we indoctrinate. And indoctrinate, maybe have a negative connotation to it for a lot of reasons, but really what we're doing is I like to think of really, really high growth businesses more of like cults than they are businesses. I mean, if you look at someone like Russell Brunson over at ClickFunnels, like that's a cult. And they're a software company, but it's very, very, very cultish if you've ever been in any of his courses or in his Facebook group. And there's a very, very good reason for that, because people are willing to like die on the hill of like Russell Brunson versus everybody because of his strategies and what he does, and he gets results for his people, which is great. And you should use a customer onboarding experience to indoctrinate your customers into your teachings and to your methodologies, so that you can get them the results that they need, and that's what turns them into those forever clients and those loyal followers that are willing to die on whatever hill you tell them to die on. For anyone whose English is a second language, to die on a hill is actually just an English expression. No one's actually dying on hills anywhere. It's just an expression to say that they're willing to argue and fight and essentially just champion whatever systems and processes or business practices that you champion, is essentially what that means. So without a really solid customer onboarding experience, so without that education and indoctrination sequence, I went to the end somehow, and you're going to see a sneak peek of all of the stuff that we have for you. So without a great customer onboarding experience, you're risking having confused leads and customers, people who don't know what you do, don't know what your product does, don't know how to use your product. That leads generally to poor customer retention, because if someone doesn't know how to implement your teachings, your services, your products, well, they're going to go somewhere else. That, of course, leads to increased refunds, because if they're within that refund window, they're going to request a refund if they leave. Increased churn, less people are going to renew. And that will ultimately lead to bad reviews, which are really, really, really hard to get rid of. So you want to make sure that we have a great customer onboarding experience. With a great customer onboarding experience, you can build your following, and aka cult, people who believe in your teachings, believe in your services, believe in your products. I like to think that a lot of our Groundhogg audience, well, not necessarily a cult, but a lot of us are here because of the value of open source that we have, because of our great customer support, because of our great training, and a lot of the practices and the strategies that we share with you seem to get a lot of great results. A great customer onboarding experience can reduce a lot of questions and support. So a lot of our customer onboarding experience, which I'll go through in detail a little bit later, is very, very focused on giving people answers to how our software and how our products and how people get support. Now, this has the advantageous effect of reducing the number of support tickets that we get, the number of people asking questions in the group, by educating our customers on exactly how everything works. This leads to increased customer engagement with our products because it's easier to use them if you understand how they work. And this makes it much easier to achieve what we call the Eureka moment. Now, the Eureka moment, as made famous, the word Eureka by Einstein, is essentially when someone experiences a successful result with a product. And if someone experiences a successful result for a product, they're essentially locked in at that point. They're not going anywhere, except for very varying cases. And of course, there's always edge cases. But if you can get the Eureka moment, you're pretty much guaranteed a customer. So most companies, their sequence of events looks something like this. So we start off with our new customer, which is our orange guy over on the left. They go through our sales and marketing funnel, and we got our funnel in the middle there. We generally get their credit card information, and they buy something, or maybe it's like an opt-in form, and we collect their email address, and then we deliver whatever the product is, and that's the end of the customer journey. A lot of businesses, when they start out, it's all about everything up until the sale, and after the sale, we think, great, we've got a customer, we're good, we don't have to do any more work. And that's just not the case. When we end the customer journey post-purchase, the everything we've done until that point, so the funnel, the content, the blog posts, the email sequences, the checkout, the store, everything, all of that we've done is actually a very small portion of the customer journey. The customer journey extends way beyond the checkout page. So our customer journey looks a little bit more like this, and we can see that there's actually more going on post-checkout. So it still starts off the same. We have our new customer, we have our leads, they go into our funnel, content, ads, email sequences, whatever. There's lots of stuff that's in our funnel. They buy something, they go to that checkout page, and after that, then we start our customer onboarding experience. This is the second half of the customer journey. We start off with some emails. We have an email sequences. We throw a few videos in there. We have office hours. We have courses. And all of that is essentially guiding them towards that Eureka moment. You see the light bulb there. All of that is essentially guiding them to that Eureka moment. And after that Eureka moment, we turn them into a loyal champion of our products, either through submitting a review, a testimonial, that Facebook like, they're following us on all social media, and essentially we are now ingrained into their lives and into their business. There's so much more that happens post-checkout that we need to talk about. So the customer onboarding experience starts here. So the email, we have video, we have courses, the Eureka moment, and then we turn that into positive feedback and a loyal champion of our products. I'm going to take a pause here really quickly, and I'm gonna see if we have sort of any questions about what we're seeing here, if there's any sort of misunderstandings, or if anybody needs any clarification. I'm gonna leave it for about 45 seconds to a minute to pop into the chat and leave any feedback or questions that you might have. If not, we're gonna move on with the presentation. Okay, it looks like everybody's caught up, so we must be doing pretty good. So just to recap on this slide, we have our initial customer journey, which is new customer. They go through the marketing funnel. Again, that content, ads, email sequences, you name it. They buy something, or they get past the kind of like the membership gate. So this could be checkout, this could be a check, this could be joining the membership, opt-in, whatever it is. But then the real customer onboarding starts with education and indoctrination, leading to the Eureka moment, and then turning them into a forever champion. So what makes a good customer onboarding experience? So how do we actually build these components? What is a good onboarding experience made of? Well, the most important thing is that as owners or as a team, we at Groundhogg remain incredibly accessible. Chat, support, we get on calls. I'm on office hours every single week. And being accessible is part of the customer onboarding experience. People want to know that once they've invested in something, that they're going to be able to communicate and get help and be guided by the team that's behind that product or service. So we make ourselves incredibly accessible, almost to the point of detriment. So I know there's a few people out there who say that, especially if you're a thought leader, say you have a course or something, that you should put yourself kind of behind a glass wall. You should be seen and you should be championed, but you're not necessarily the person who's directly speaking with the customers. I'm sure that works in some cases, but I find a lot more effective to make myself personally, even though I'm technically like the CEO and the guy in charge, I make myself incredibly accessible at all times, because I feel that our audience gets a huge benefit from that versus me putting kind of like a middleman and another team member in the middle of me and you, which is why I'm here answering questions directly. I think that has a major impact on the adoption and the belief in the strategies that you may be sharing, whether it's life, whether it's marketing, whether it's whatever. So I highly recommend that even if you have like a 10-person team, you remain the most accessible component at all times, because if you're the person in charge, you're the thought leader, you're the person kind of pushing the mantra, then it's going to come way better from you than it will anybody else in your team. And that's kind of just how it is. So I highly recommend being accessible, making your team accessible, and having 17 different ways to get in contact with you at all times if you need support. And Timothy is just popping in here, and he says he loves how accessible you are. And your team is. Being able to have a personal support ticket screen share with you was impressive, made me a loyal customer. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that we do here. The first 14 days, that first 30 days of the customer experience with us is absolutely critical. And we go to the mat to ensure that problems get fixed and questions get answered, no matter the cost, because it's important to us that our customers succeed at all costs. Because your success is a direct reflection of how well our software works. So it's incredibly important to us. And whatever you're selling, if the customer success is a direct reflection of your products, which it should always be, then you need to be accessible at all times. So huge part of the customer onboarding experience. Number 2, you have to make resources available. It's not enough to drop someone in front of a piece of software like ours and be like, go for it, right? I mean, when we initially set out to make Groundhogg, it was supposed to be way simpler than like ActiveCampaign or Infusionsoft or HubSpot or any of that stuff. But really, it's not, and it's a comparable piece of software, not only in functionality but in complexity. We make it easier though, and we make it more understandable, and we make the software more accessible by providing a significant amount of resources. Again, this office hours is a resource. We have our Groundhogg Academy. We have all of our office hours categorized and cataloged. We have blog posts. We do a significant amount of training. And by providing these resources in our documentation, we make our software more accessible. So if you have a course, and I find that this is something that's lacking from a lot of courses. So if you've got a course, right, we usually consider the course in and of itself the resource if it's the product. However, there's so much more that you could add in additional resources to make the course more accessible for implementation. For example, if you're doing like some sort of life coaching and you're trading on these rituals, like the morning mantra, waking up in the mirror, saying your mantra, etc., stuff like that, it's a supporting resource to that might be providing a template for filling out and creating their mantra in the first place, instead of letting them come up with that on their own. So stuff like that, I think, is lacking and can seriously improve the adoptability and accessibility of your teachings or your software or your courses or your products or whatever it is that you sell. So Accessible resources, super important. Examples of resources that we have our documentation, we have office hours, we have our courses, we have our team. We make our team available as a resource at all times. So make sure that if you have a product, you have supporting stuff in order to make adoption easier. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying about making yourself accessible. When I think that some people confuse the terminology between guide and hero, and this is something that I learned from a guy named Chris Lemma, who's a big WordPress fanatic and works over at Liquid Web, pushing the WooCommerce hosting. When I went to his conference a couple years ago, he shared with our group the hero journey. And when we go through the story of the hero's journey, a lot of us learned this maybe in school in English class. They are innocent to begin with, and then they lose their point of innocence. They go down, and then they eventually find a guide, a spiritual guide, and then that guide helps them. He trains. There's lots of training, and then you reach the climax where he confronts the innocence and the thing that took his innocence in the first place, and then that's how the hero journey progresses. A lot of us, a lot of business owners, are self-contained in our own mind and our own grandeur, and we place ourselves in that story as the hero, and we think we're the hero of that story because that's what happened to us. Something happened, and we had to fend for ourselves, and we had to start this business, and we found mentors, and they trained us. But when you're the business owner and you're taking customers, you're actually sacrificing yourself as the hero. You're no longer the hero. Your customer is the hero in that process, and you become the guide. So part of that hero journey is they find the guide, and the guide trains them. That is my role in Groundhogg. I am the guide to a lot of people in our group with business, with marketing, with marketing automation. That's my responsibility here, is to make that more accessible to business owners that want to launch their funnel, grow their list, and scale their business. And you in your business are the guide for taking customers from point A to point B, a problem that you already solved, a problem that you already went through, presumably. You were already hero, and now you are no longer the hero, now you are the guide. And the guide in the hero's journey is generally pretty accessible. So going back to that accessibility thing, if you are now the guide, you must be accessible. So be willing to guide your customers through the process, take as much time as it takes, and I promise that the rewards will be tenfold. Just look at our 57 5-star reviews on WordPress.org. That just goes to show that we have some of the best accessibility and the best customer support currently available. And if you make yourselves as accessible, I promise that you'll experience a similar result. So the customer onboarding process, the customer onboarding experience, what makes a good onboarding experience? A excellent and good customer onboarding experience ends with the Eureka moment. So the Eureka moment is the point where your customer experiences a positive result, either in their life or in their business, that shows them that your teachings, that your strategies, that your mentorship is worthwhile continuing to invest in. I will give you an example in a little bit of what a Eureka moment looks like and how you can create one. So let's talk about our onboarding experience. I like to think that we have a pretty good one. Of course, it can always be improved, and we're constantly working on improving it and finding holes that we can plug in order to ensure that our customers experience better results than we're giving them. But this is currently as it is at the moment, and I think it works pretty good. And Timothy says it works pretty good, so I'm going to listen to Timothy. So our onboarding experience has a few components to it. First off, starting with our Quick Start course. The Quick Start course actually has a lot of the components of an onboarding experience built within the course itself. That's actually the purpose of why we created the course in the first place. It has education, it has indoctrination, it's got the whole thing. So our course educates people on why Groundhogg is important and why they need marketing automation. Sometimes people end up on our doorstep and they have no idea what marketing automation is or why they need it. So this takes part of that education. The indoctrination component comes in when we're talking about all of the benefits of open source and of WordPress. And now they're indoctrinated to think of a WordPress first approach, which we're one of the only providers. Then we get them a little bit further. We get Groundhogg installed. We get their first funnel launched, and they get to experience how easy it was because this course takes under 1 hour. And what seemed so difficult at first and what seemed so intelligently demanding has actually now been broken down to under an hour of work. And actually probably the amount of work involved probably only takes around 15 minutes because the course is an hour in and of itself. So the actual work involved is probably under 15 minutes. So that means that they were able to launch their funnel. They're probably getting people into this at this point. And that's our Eureka moment, is when they go through this course and they get to the end and they launch their funnel, they send a first broadcast, they import their list, and they experience just how easy it was in the first place. They're like, wow, that was awesome. Let's do that again. And that's how we generate our Eureka moment. I don't think we've had anybody like go through this course who's like, nah, screw this. Afterwards, anybody who goes through this course becomes a champion, because it has all of these components. We make ourselves accessible while they're taking the course. We provide templates and we provide documentation and other available resources during the course, and the course, of course, itself is a resource. We guide the customer through the process. I'm in that course and I'm saying, all right, do this, do this, do this, do this, and you're going to achieve this result. And guess what? They do. And then it ends with that Eureka moment of them launching their funnel and them seeing people opt in. And it's amazing. It's a great feeling. We then also couple our course with an onboarding email series. This is probably something that you can whip up, and I'll actually show you how to whip up a little bit later. So our onboarding email series contains 8 emails that educate the customers about the various opportunities available within the Groundhogg universe. So we do, of course, our indoctrination, again, educating people on why open source, on why WordPress, on how to use our products, and why we do some of the things the way we do, like our plain email editor, although we have the drag and drop one, but why we prefer simplified emails and other education as well. We send them to all of our various courses, so our Groundhogg Academy. We tell them about office hours. You know, people don't know about office hours when they initially come to their community, and sometimes they just show up. So we have to say, hey, listen, if you need help, we got office hours. It's on Tuesdays. And we educate our customers about all of the various support opportunities and the resources that we have available to them. And we do this over a series of 8 days and 8 emails. We tell them about discounts if they're not a customer yet. We say, hey, listen, here's your 15% off. Go buy. We tell them about our affiliate program and how they can earn 10% recurring commissions. We tell them about our partner program if they're an agency. And we diffuse people through a single entry point. So that's if they come through the single entry point, either the checkout page or the registration form or wherever, we walk them through all of these steps and let them know all of the available opportunities. And it kind of becomes like a choose your own journey at that point. But they're so engaged and they're so hooked by the opportunities that they're more than happy to go diffuse and join us on the various different programs that we have. So we have 8 emails which educate and indoctrinate our customers about the various opportunities, in addition to the course, which a lot of them go through. Actually, the first email in our onboarding series is go take the course if you haven't already. So that has something to say for it as well. And of course, this is coupled with our unmatched support and accessibility. Day or night, rain or shine, somehow we're always there, mostly. We have our live chat, we have support, we have office hours, we just have all of the ways. And within those first 14 days, that someone, because I mean, most software and most businesses offer generally a 14-day or 30-day money-back guarantee. So it's important that, you know, you're accessible within those first 14 days, or else guess what? That's a refund. So we just make sure that we're accessible at all times. All right, I'm going to stop there for 45 seconds. I'm going to wait to see if anybody has any feedback, any comments, any questions. Just pop those into the chat before I go into explaining how you can start building your own customer onboarding experience. Maybe not as broad or as complex or as filled with as many things as we do, because I've had 2 years to perfect our onboarding experience. But we're going to talk about how you can start building a simpler onboarding experience that will at least solve initial problems of customer churn and all of those other no good stuff. I can also take a moment to breathe. So Timothy asks what the recommended timing between each onboarding email. I'm actually going to cover that in the next section, Timothy. So stay tuned. I'm going to go right into that. But it looks like you have the only question so far. So we're actually just going to steam forward, and I'm going to tell you the answer to that question. So here is the simplest kind of like most minimum viable onboarding experience that I think you should have. So it starts with a new customer that can also be a new lead depending on your sales process. Maybe it doesn't require a payment before becoming a member of your community or your organization. So whatever a new customer or a new lead or a new member qualifies for you, everybody goes into this process. Anybody who comes through Groundhogg, if they register through the plugin, if they register on the Academy, if they register through the checkout, everybody, no matter who they are, the first time they register, they go into our onboarding experience. So wherever they go in here. Then we go into some introductions. I think it's important that you introduce yourself. I introduce myself in the first onboarding email that we have. I say, hey, listen, I'm the CEO. It's a pleasure to have you as part of our community. These are the things that we believe in, and these are the things that we're going to be able to help you with. And over the next few days, we're going to be able to show you where you can start and how you can actually achieve all the results that we promised you would achieve with our product. So we introduce ourselves, our mission, purpose, value, and then we tell them over the next few days what they can expect and how it is that we're going to help them achieve those results. And then we give them something to do. Maybe it's watch a video, maybe it's take a course, maybe it's just to log into the software or log into their customer portal, whatever. You just give them something to do, and we're going to save some of the more interesting content for a little bit later. They just took a huge risk and a huge leap by investing you in the first place. That's a lot of brain power for one day. So we're gonna absorb and give them some time to recoup their brain power, and then we're gonna get into some of the more heavy stuff. So I think onboarding email should be timed on 1 day intervals, especially if you have lots of onboarding stuff to do. We have 8, and it has to be all dispersed in 14 days. So we do it every 1 day. Timothy, which was the answer to your question originally. And then we're going to send them the next email, and it's just going to be a start here email. So the first thing that you should do, in our case, in Groundhogg's case, this is go take the course, which is our quick start course. Go do that. And that is going to get them the Eureka moment and a lot of other things as well. And then the last email that you should do, the last email that you should send is a congrats email where you congratulate them for taking the risk, for becoming a member of the community, for finishing the course, if they finish the course, whatever it is. You essentially congratulate them on taking a step into improving their life, their business, or whatever it is that you help your customers with. So that is the most minimum viable customer onboarding experience. It's 3 emails, introduction, start here, and a congratulations email. Ours is a little bit longer than that. Again, it's 8 emails. It has these components, but it has some more stuff in the middle because we have lots of opportunities as by being a part of our organization. So if you have many different opportunities being a part of your organization, then I recommend that you separate each opportunity into a separate email and you send those emails out. That way they can join all the various different opportunities that you offer. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You can, of course, couple this with your additional resources, with your courses, with your training, with office hours, with the support, whatever it is that you need to do, your accessibility. But if you're building an onboarding funnel, this is how you do it. So if you need more inspiration and you want to see a little bit more about the exact email content that we use in our onboarding emails, we actually have a blog post for that. So let me grab it for you. So in the chat, I am posting a link to how to increase customer retention by automating onboarding, which is a blog post that we actually wrote right around the beginning of Groundhogg. But the information is still incredibly relevant, so go ahead and check that out for inspiration on how you can create your own onboarding experience. Okay, so we have reached the end of the topic. I am going to give 30-second priority to questions about customer onboarding and that topic. Otherwise, we're going to jump right into the open Q&A session. I know a few people are asking when Q&A starts. Q&A starts now. So let's see if we have any questions about onboarding. Okay, let's start with Nora's question. So Nora asks, can funnel or emails revolve around dates like birthdays or holidays, for example? Yes, it can, and we are in the process of actually making that process easier, Nora. I know it's not exactly super obvious at that point, at this point. However, we are in the process of making that easier with our new funnel editor. But let me open that up momentarily. So let's get logged in and everything. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to answer Timothy's question. So Timothy asks, when do you think that Groundhogg will finish the full BuddyBoss integration with the BuddyBoss profile field replacements? That is an unknown, but I can message my team and I can find out for you. I'm not going to be able to do that on this call, but I do know that it has been requested and it's in the feature requests list. So I can get an answer for you that on Timothy a little bit later. You can message our page afterwards, and I'll see what I can do about that. And for anybody wondering why the screen is just Google, it's because I am trying to log into the site, which I can demonstrate using specific dates as part of a funnel. Let's see, WP, yes, there we go. Okay, Nora. So the question is, can funnels emails revolve around dates like birthdays or holidays, for example? Yes, they can. So for dates, you need the advanced features extension because that includes something called the date timer and the advanced timer. So on the actions tab, we have a few timers. We have the date timer, the field timer, and the advanced timer. So for the date, you'll want to use the date timer. There we go. And we can just simply choose a date that we want to wait to. So if they enter the funnel and you want to wait to a specific date, you choose the date that you want, and you can choose which time you want it to run at. And then you can also choose what happens if the date they entered the funnel is already passed. So if you want to stop the funnel or you want to skip to a different step. For birthdays, then you can use the field timer. And you can select their birthday field, which is here somewhere. I might have to actually just create the field first. But if you are collecting birthdays through the form, you'll actually find that the birthday field is here. And you'll be able to select that birthday. And then you can wait at least 3 days before, 3 days after, and then run at a specific time of day. There's lots of stuff you can do. So the date timer and the field timer are what you are going to want to use for that process. Nora, hopefully this answers your question. Both of these types of timers are included in the advanced features extension. Nora has a follow-up question. How can people who email through forms, not through forms, but get into the system other than by manual entry? So if they're just emailing you, that's a little bit tougher. There's a tool out there called Parsi, I think it's called. Yeah, so there's a tool called Parsi, and they have a Zapier integration. And what you can do is, I think you can like forward emails to this, and then they'll parse the email and look for stuff like name, email address, and whatnot, and then add that as a contact. So maybe this is what you are looking for, Nora. It would be a little bit weird. So you could do something like send an email to Parsi. Parsi sends it to Zapier, and Zapier sends it to Groundhogg. I don't know if Parsi has a direct webhook tool, but you could also utilize the Groundhogg webhook listener, and then the listener would then add them to Groundhogg directly without the use for something like Zapier. So hopefully that makes sense, Nora, and that answers your question. Timothy asks, okay, so that's about the BuddyBoss integration. I already promised to follow up on that. Timothy says, is there a way to do a text message broadcast? Absolutely. All you need is the SMS extension with Groundhogg. Downloads SMS. So the SMS extension is available in the Groundhogg Pro plan, as well as the agency plan. It requires you either have Twilio or AWS or SMS 77 or whatever the other gateway is. It requires an SMS gateway, essentially. And you can send a broadcast SMS through this. You just it's basically the exact same as an email broadcast. You choose the SMS you want to send, you choose the tags that you want to send it to, and you get to send it out. So the answer to that is absolutely. Timothy says, can the webhook get action store response in a meta or user tag? No, it can't. There's a reason for that we chose that it doesn't store the response, and I forget what it is. But no, unfortunately, the webhook action, the sending webhook action, does not retrieve a response. I think it was explained to me as a security precaution. Simply because if you're sending, let's say you're sending a webhook to a domain you control, that domain is hacked. The response is then changed to something, and that gets like stored unsanitized in the database. This is no good. So I think it's a security thing. I can double check on that, but no, it can't store the response at this time. Fashion Buyers Network. I'm assuming that's not your name. If you'd like to share your name with us, that's great. If you'd like to just use your page alias, that's also fine. But the question is, after onboarding, my question is, can you recommend or develop some custom modifications? We want to offer insurance agents a per user membership fee that will cover their hosting expenses. If you want to like collect payments with Groundhogg without setting up something custom, we have something called Really Simple Payments, which offers monthly recurring subscriptions, which you can set up with either Stripe or PayPal. Where is it? Really Simple Payments. It's here somewhere. Something's going on with my website, though. So the Really Simple Payments extension allows you to set up subscriptions with Stripe or PayPal. There's reports involved. You can select the currency, all of that good stuff. It's basically like a really, really, really simple WooCommerce or easy digital downloads. And it just makes it easy to collect payments. So maybe this is something that you're looking for. You can have people sign up. And after they sign up, you can apply a tag, and that tag applies their membership. You can use the content restriction extension. So if we go to the content restrictions extension, it allows you to restrict content based on tags. So if you have like a customer portal or like certain posts that are supposed to be like members only, then this is something that you could use to do that. So hopefully that answers your question. Our team does not do custom development at all. We actually have certified partners for that. If anybody wants to work with someone who is certified in the teachings of Groundhogg, then we offer certified partners all around the world the ability to contact you or to have you contact them through our certified partner directory. If you'd like me to make introductions, then what you can do is you can message our Facebook page, and what we'll do is we'll actually put out an RFP for partners, and we'll put them in touch with you, anyone who's interested in your particular project. But our team, ourselves, we don't do any custom development. Nora asks, can people be related to each other using tags? I want to email multiple people from the same company at the same time about something. I don't think so. We have the company's extension, by the way. So if you're looking to categorize people into companies, we have something called the company's extension. I don't know about emailing like the whole team at the same time, though. That's an interesting question. I don't know if that feature was built into it. So I don't know. But what we can do is we can follow up with you. If you message our Facebook page, I can ask to see if that functionality is available. Out of the box, I know it's not. I don't know if it is with the company's extension, though. So that is an I don't know, Nora, and follow up with us, and we'll find out for you and dig into it a little bit more. Timothy asks, I'm using the brand new simple texting integration. So I think that's made by Colin Longworth. Will this support SMS broadcasting plugin? Well, I think that the integration is just for... I don't know how Colin made it, so I don't know. We didn't make it. So I don't know if it'll support the broadcast. I know that you need to use our SMS extension to send a broadcast. If he set it up where the simple texting is just the gateway using our inbuilt SMS tool, then yes, it'll support the broadcast. The SMS broadcast just looks like this. Let me pull it up here. Let's see. I just have to install it really quickly. SMS. Let's go ahead and install that. And we'll also just install one of the gateways really quickly. There we go. We have an SMS message. So if you're using the SMS extension, then when you go to broadcasts, there'll actually be a new button at the top called Schedule SMS Broadcast instead of Schedule Email Broadcast. And this will allow you to go through the process of scheduling SMS broadcasts. You select the SMS you want to send, and then all of this good stuff here. Okay. So Fashion Buyers Network has a follow-up to the original question about the agents and the really simple payments. My question is, can I sell and charge on a per-user basis on their domain? Example, different insurance or stock brokerage agencies with some less than users cover their hosting expenses via Liquid Web. Yeah, I'm not the best person to talk to about that. It actually sounds like you have more of like a WAS question if you're familiar with WAS. So that may be a question for the WAS community. Maybe Michael Short, if you're familiar with Michael Short. Maybe you're using something like WP Ultimo and you have it set up on multi-site. There's a lot of variables, but I'm not the best person to ask about that. So what you can do is you can message our page. We can put you in touch with a partner, and we will be able to continue the conversation with them so that they can get you an appropriate answer. But I'm not the best person to ask about that. Timothy has another follow-up question. Can you filter multiple fields with the search and broadcast ability? For example, I want to send a broadcast to people that match multiple search conditions. Any or all option would be great. So with the broadcasts, so we added the ability to use a saved search. And the saved search look like this. So if we go to contacts, and we click search. There we go. So we open up our search. We have all of this stuff, and we can use all of these conditions or all of these filters in order to find people that we want. So, for example, if we want to choose people who have certain tags or exclude certain tags, we want, let's say, everybody on our list who identifies as female, or we include contacts with anybody from a specific import, then we'd be able to do that. So these are treated as and conditions. And if you want to do specific tags, you can choose if they have any of those tags or all of those tags in addition to that. Then you can go ahead and you can save this search. And once you go ahead and you save this search, then you will be able to use that search in the broadcast tool. So going through the scheduling of the email broadcast, just like that. So instead of defining these tags here, you can use one of those saved searches that will have all of the conditions that you need. So hopefully that answers your question, Tim. Nora has another follow-up question. This is her last question. Last question from Nora. Is Groundhogg considered a CRM? If not, how is it different? Groundhogg has a CRM component. It's not entirely a CRM. It does so much more than that, but it has the CRM component. So yes, it is, and it has more to it than that. It has the marketing automation component. It has the email broadcasts. It's got the sales pipeline. So it does a whole lot more than just CRM, but it does have that CRM component. Yes, that's what the contacts area is here. This is the CRM component. You can use all of their information. You can collect their information, et cetera, et cetera. So yes. Timothy says, I need additional meta. The current search only allows one meta at a time, though. Yeah, so the current search only allows selecting one meta at a time. There's no UI for selecting multiple meta keys and checking those conditions, simply because, well, that's complicated to build. It's a valid feature request. You're welcome to use our feature request form at any time in order to request that functionality. The ability to search via multiple meta parameters is available via code. So that functionality exists as part of our what we call the contact query, so you can actually specify those parameters. It's just not available via the UI because the way that it's structured isn't exactly what we would call UI friendly. So Timothy, while it may come in the future, and hopefully it does, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't want to add that. It's just not available at this moment unless you know some PHP. So my recommendation to you is stay honest about it and let us know what you need, and hopefully we may be able to find some sort of solution in the near future. Otherwise, what we can do is we can, like we recommended to Fashion Buyers Network, we can put you in touch with a certified partner who's also a developer, and maybe they can make something for you that would accomplish that goal. Yeah, that's what I can offer at this point, because we don't have it as part of the regular UI at this time. For those of you who don't know, we have a feature request form available. Let me pull it up here. And I'm going to just post it in the chat. So you can go ahead and you can stick your feature request in there, and we'll have a look at it. They're categorized, and they're then marked up as by priority. We don't have public feature requests at this time, simply because it actually allows us to identify what's really important, because when people take the time to submit feature requests that they really care about, that tells us what really matters, versus if we just have like the voting system that we used to have. It's kind of just like, let's just vote for everything because we can. So go ahead and publish your feature request, and that'll help us out greatly. All right, wow, it's time flew. We're already at the top of the hour. We have 3 minutes left, so I'm going to leave it to the floor for 45 seconds or so for any last-minute questions that people might have. Otherwise, we're going to start wrapping up today's session of Office Hours. There are no bad questions. There's no silly questions. My purpose for being on this call is to get you the answers that you need. And that is why I'm here. So if you have a question, now's the time. Timothy says, thank you for your time. This has been very informative. Well, thank you for being here, Timothy. I'm glad that you were able to extract value from today's session. That's incredibly important to me, so thank you. Okay, well, it looks like that we are good to start wrapping up then. No further questions. All right, so like I mentioned so many times in our onboarding topic, supporting resources are important, and we have lots to choose from. We have academy.groundhogg.io, where we have these office hours recordings. We also have new free courses there. We have our certified partner directory. So if you just need help, then we can put you in touch with a certified partner, or you can find one yourself by going through our partner directory. You can also earn recurring commissions for people that you refer to our products and services. Go to affiliate area /registration to learn more about how you become an affiliate. If you're not following us, you should be. We're available on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, which is not listed here. All of the handles are at GroundhoggWP, except for YouTube, which you can go to groundhogg.gg/YouTube to subscribe. Reviews really do help, and if you found today's session informative and helpful, and you want to, there's no more ways that you can pay us, so you're looking for another way to contribute, well, you can hop on over to wordpress.org and you can leave us a review. Reviews allow us to get more customers, which means more developers because we've got more money, which means more features that you want and love faster. You can go to wordpress.org/plugins/groundhog to leave a 5-star review. If you have more questions, you can continue to comment on the stream. We're going to be moderating these questions, and I'm actually just seeing a few last-minute messages come in. Fashion Buyers Network says, we need you on LinkedIn. We actually are on LinkedIn, and I think it's /GroundhoggWP on LinkedIn too. I should add that to the thing. But I am available on LinkedIn, as well as Groundhogg is available on LinkedIn. Both are incredibly visible and easy to find. So if you want to add me on LinkedIn as well, you are more than welcome to do that. And Timothy also says, you were going to recommend a partner to me based on our support call. Are you still willing to do that? Yes, and I'm sorry if that slipped my mind and I wasn't able to commit to that to that promise. So message our page and we will start the process for that as well, Timothy. Okay, need more help? Message live chat at GroundhoggWP on Twitter and all of our other social channels. You can email us at info@groundhogg.io. Submit a sport ticket, Facebook group, that's what it's there for. Lots of ways to get in touch, and we make ourselves incredibly accessible. So, thank you everybody for joining me and spending the hour of your day today. I know it's a lot to ask business owners to take a day out of their busy lives, so I want to thank you for doing so, and I hope everybody was able to extract some value from today's session. Next session will be next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's 2 p.m. CST. So, I will look forward to seeing everybody there. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day.